So today we gonna talk about my honest opinion of drugs in college. So I know I did a video called, my honest opinion about liquor in college and my thoughts and everything like that. So I figured, why not do one for drugs? Because it is a part of college culture. It is a part of college life. It is something that you will see. It is something that you will be around. Hopefully not no harsh drugs, but drugs in general are just a part of something that comes with the territory. So I figured I would do a video on this just to be fair. So let's get right into it. My honest opinions about drugs and college and everything like that. So just to kind of start off, some of the more popular or frequently seen or heard of or talked about drugs that I came across and that other people, talked about and had encounters with or knew anything about. Most of the things that I heard about or heard people talk about or knew that people were doing were acid, mushrooms, marijuana, Adderalls, and unfortunately cocaine. Now I ain't even gonna hold y'all up. Y'all know I keep it real transparent. When I was in college, I smoked here and there, nothing too extravagant, but I also was not adventurous. However, I did have friends who did other drugs and who, they lived to tell about it, but they also was straight up with us. Like, one particular friend I know, she tried mushrooms for the first time, and she said that it was pretty okay. And that led to her trying other drugs. And I remember this one time, she and I were living in the same dorm. And it was over the summer, and she just came back to her room, and her room was like 2 doors down from mine. And she was just like, something's wrong. Like, she was really tripping. Like, it was serious. Like, and it just kind of scared her. It shocked her. Thankfully, we didn't have to go to the emergency room or nothing like that. But doing drugs while you're in college is very dangerous. It is very dangerous just because, one, depending on what it is, it can be very addictive. It can be very addictive. 2, you don't know if the person who you got it from a person that's kind of safe, I'll say. And it just is something that's very, you can take a chance on that. I know that growing up, my mom told me that she had a friend who, lived in the neighborhood and, they would hang out with him. And one time he decided that he wanted to smoke. He wanted to try out some drugs or whatever. And come to find out, he ended up smoking with some people and they had laced his marijuana blunt. Now, if you don't know what that means, essentially somebody did something to it that they shouldn't have done. So usually, let's say when you roll a joint or whatever, you just break down your marijuana and you put it in a wrap paper and you roll it up. Now if somebody were to lace it, they can lace it with anything. They can lace it with crack, they can lace it with PCP, they can lace it with a number of things. Some people dip their marijuana blunts in alcohol because they want to get higher. It's so many things that go along with that, but it's just such a large risk. So knowing that my mom had a friend like that, I was very cautious. I was very hesitant about trying anything, about doing anything. So I kind of want to just tell y'all, when it comes to drugs, one, just stay away from them completely, especially if you don't know where they're coming from. Do not ever drink or smoke or go anywhere or do anything with people that you do not trust, because it's just so many unfortunate stories that are told on college campuses about people being taken advantage of while they are inebriated, people ending up places that they have no idea. I've seen so many college stories about kids who take some type of drug and then they wake up in jail with a whole bunch of charges and they don't even have no recollection of how they got there, what they there for, or anything like that. And it's just you don't go to college for that. Yes, it comes with the territory. Yes, some people overindulge, and unfortunately it affects everybody differently. The way that a drug might affect one person may be different from the way that it affects another person. One particular instance that I do want to tell you guys about, I was at a homecoming one time and it was just so many people there. Everybody was kind of tore up, and I heard a group of girls talking about they wanted to do some acid. So I'm just listening to their conversation And it was just like baffling to me. Like, I was just so taken aback by some of the things that they were saying. Like, oh, you'll be fine. Da, da, da. And it was like 45 minutes later, one of the girls was sleeping in the grass. And her friends was just laughing at her. Like, no, those are not the type of people you want to be around. Adderalls were the most common, I'll say, just because a lot of college students have a hard time staying up. Energy drinks work for some people and they don't work for others. So some people sell their Adderall. Some people have prescriptions for Adderall. And usually they're used for like ADHD as like not really a cure or a treatment, but just to kind of combat their focus, their lack of focus, I'll say. And you know, some people who took Adderall, it was nothing. But they would, when they would crash, when they would come down off of it, they would crash really hard. They would sleep for like 16, 18 hours. And sometimes miss work, miss class because they're just so tired. And they can't go to sleep because this pill has them awake. I don't really have like a whole bunch of expertise on that. But different strokes for different folks. You know, it's just one of those things where it's like, you just gotta be careful. You just gotta be careful. You never know how something's gonna affect you. You never know what it's gonna do to you. You never know what it might do to your friend that it doesn't do to you. It's just really a very big gamble. So, if I had to say that I had like any tips, I would just say, one, don't do anything with anybody you don't trust and you don't know where it's coming from. 2, do not ever partake or intake or ingest or consume anything that you do not know where it's coming from, whose hands it's been in, and if they have a reputation for having safe products, if that makes sense. I don't really know how to, I don't really know how to address that, but just be careful. Be very careful. Be cautious of who you get things from, where you get things from. Know who hands it been through, because that will tell you a lot. And my last and final tip: please be safe. You going to college to get a degree, not to smoke drugs or do anything that would damage your life. Because to be honest, if something happened to you, your friends and family would be tore up. They would. And it would be so unfortunate that your young life, your young mind, your young spirit is just being taken away because what? You wanted to try something, you wanted to do something new. Like, no. You have to be careful, you have to be safe, and at all times do everything in moderation. I'm Customized Key, and I want to keep this video short and sweet for y'all. That's kind of my honest thoughts about drugs in college. If you have any questions, I have an Ask FM, or you can leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, comment, rate, and subscribe, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. Peace out.